Okay, so we've walked up from the lower area of the library into the rotunda, and we're in the stairwell. So now we can see the other mural cycle that was directed by Grant Wood, When Tillage Begins, Other Arts Follow. This is actually the earlier, was done a little bit earlier than the one below. The murals along the wall, you can actually see names of disciplines, farm crops, animal husbandry, home economics, and so on, but these represent the three divisions of Iowa State College. So we have engineering on the wall opposite me, agriculture behind me, and home economics on this side. In a lot of ways, I think what's exciting to look at through this mural is these, not only how things were being done at that time, but ways that scholars, that students here are innovating and showing innovation and what the future could look like. Because again, I think we have to keep this in context that it's a PWAP project. So the idea of celebrating a sense of place and accomplishment for Iowa, for Ames, for Iowa State Agricultural College is important here, and that having a sense of pride in a time period that's very difficult is important to Wood. Again, just like we talked about in the mural below, there is a real thoughtfulness and Wood is very careful to have specific details. So things are painted very accurately. And we'll see that as we go throughout. Behind me here in the veterinary medicine panel, I like to pay attention to what's happening here. And I ask students, to look at this carefully as we do. And what do you see happening? And how can this look like innovation? So this is a vaccine, and Iowa State College was known for developing vaccines, so this is showing innovation in that space. But at the same time, we're kind of in this barn that has a upside down horseshoe. It's a little bit not necessarily the site of innovation that you would think of, really. So as we go through and look at the rest of the panel, we have more kind of, again, that sense of hard work, the hayloft, the animal husbandry of the horses. You can see the man in the corner there is wiping his brow. So I think there's this combination of hard work and also innovation happening in these panels. So in the middle section, we see the Department of Home Economics. And as I take students through here, often the first reaction of women in the classes is one of feeling quite appalled, really, because here's women kind of stuck in the household. But I think one thing that's really important to think about is the context of this, because when Grant Wood is painting this, home economics is really this burgeoning scientific field that in many ways is thought of as being on a very equal plane to engineering and agriculture, and that's how Wood has portrayed home economics. So I think, as when we look at any historical work of art, we need to think about the cultural, social, historic context of that in order to place it, rather than just immediately kind of placing judgment on it. And I think that's, again, part of that visual literacy of looking at something very closely, and building our interpretation can often mean looking for other scholarship, looking for that context, and building those ideas, and then creating that evaluation. There's a whole book about this mural cycle and the other murals of Grant Wood and Christian Peterson, When Tillage Begins, Other Arts Follow. And again, I think it's great to combine both your visual literacy with more scholarship and research in order to really build interpretations of these things. So the final panel that I want to talk about is the engineering panel. And again, just like we talked about downstairs, there's such beautiful specific detail here showing work being done, the blueprint of the bridge, is very accurate and thoughtful. We have the turbine, and here are the very early beginnings of our aeronautical program up at the top. Again, I think to me what really is something we can see in this mural is the idea of innovation, but also how that innovation, how that research is being blended with the practical, and how the applications of these fields of study and what is being learned here at the college is being applied and brought out into the world. So we have building of bridges, we have developing of turbines, we have even in the ceramics engineering, a highly functional applications of those being used. So that combination that again goes back to that land grant mission, the idea of having a place of study that is open to all, but also one that really focuses on the practical applications. And we can see that in all the panels of this mural. So the last panel that I want to draw your attention to is here in the center with the title of the mural cycle, but also a listing of all of the artists who worked on the mural, because Grant Wood directed the project, and here he writes directed by, and he's very thoughtful about that title that he gives himself, because he does design all of the panels and make sure that he has a very cohesive and result, and has a lot of very specific kind of divisions of labor with these artists and how they all work together. But it is ultimately a very collaborative project that employed a lot of artists through the program. And this idea of creating art in this way and having an artist studio and production like that is one that's very old and is still something that's done today. So ultimately, this is a project that I think really embodies the land grant mission. And so thank you for taking the time to explore with us today this really special part of our Art on Campus collection. And we really hope that it sparks curiosity in you and inspires you to really look closely and not only public art, but everything around you and take in the world. We also invite you to explore other things with us at university museums. We have other videos that you can look at to explore campus, as well as a lot of beautiful written material from all of our staff. So thank you.